How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we are looking at what you have to avoid in the market right now. Cryptos have been doing really well over the last month. We can see that Bitcoin's gone from about 30,000 about 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago now, all the way up to 50,500, 51,000 maybe, and people are fearful. Why do people feel fearful right now? Well, we're going to take a look at it and talk about what you have to avoid, because there is fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market. And maybe it's for good reason, maybe it's not. We'll take a look at it here. Now, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I really appreciate it. I saw a lot of fear in the market, and I think this is the day to talk about this now that we are seeing cryptos come up a little bit. This is not the end of fear. We'll talk about that. Now, if you guys don't mind, again, hitting that like button. Also, there is a link underneath the video in case you want interest rate on your cryptocurrencies. You can check out BlockFi. They're one of the two apps that I really use a lot to get cryptocurrency interest. Thank you, and let's look at it here. So we have Bitcoin falling about 6% from 50,500 all the way down to 47,500. And people are calling for this to be a dead cat bounce. People are saying that's going to 45,000, 40,000, 35, 25, whatever. People are saying it's still going to go to zero. Now, I think this is something that we really should dive into, because I have seen a lot of fear recently. People are talking about taking profits. People are talking about just selling off completely. They made a decent amount over the last couple months, and they are willing to sell and get out of crypto. And I think we have to be careful. There's a lot of news right now that is quite negative in the crypto space. Now, this is not coming from the big banks anymore, which is interesting. It's coming from a lot of the different news outlets. Coinbase slammed for what users say is terrible customer service after hackers. We don't even have to read the article, but you can see they threw in talking about hackers and how you don't get any customer service, so you might as well not keep your money at Coinbase or your crypto at Coinbase, because people will just steal your money, and this is on CNBC. We have Janet Yellen takes on the wild world of crypto. Analysts grow concerned as $2 billion in Ethereum flood exchanges. Why cryptocurrencies are down big today, and that's a Bitcoin bubble popping. I think we have to pay attention, because all of these mainstream outlets are pushing this, that, hey, this could be a bubble. And that does well. That does well for views, for people reading your website. It makes a lot of sense why these people would want this, because they're trying to get eyes. They're trying to go from both sides, right? It's great when it's going up, but is the bubble going to pop now that it's come down 5% after being up 70% over the last month? We have a lot of good news still coming, right? We have smart contracts for Cardano, we have Ethereum 2.0, countries adopting Bitcoin, and then also we have a lot of companies that most likely will be adding Bitcoin over the coming years on their balance sheet. Let's not forget, we're still early on. This is a $2 trillion market cap. The thing is, once you sell a cryptocurrency or an investment, a lot of the time it is harder to get back in at a higher price. I mean, look at these two tweets. You don't want to be these people. I wish I kept 1,700 Bitcoin at 6 cents instead of selling them at 30 cents. Now they're at $8. Do you think he went back in and bought Bitcoin for 30 times what he sold it for? So he made a 5x, but he could have had an unbelievable amount of wealth for $100 or something they spent on this. He could have had millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, but instead he sold it at a very low amount, and then when it went up 30x, he didn't buy back in. You can see this one too. Well, Bitcoin is stabilized at almost exactly $14 a coin. I'm tired of waiting for a jump, so I'm taking the loss and getting my cash back. This is obviously really early on, but this could be similar. If you buy a tenth of a Bitcoin or whatever, and it goes up to $200,000 and then it falls back down to $100,000 or $150,000, there's going to be a lot of articles out there talking about, oh my gosh, it's the end of days, right? It's fallen down so much. But it's going to be really hard to want to buy back in for a lot of people when they were able to buy it at 30,000 and then they sold it when it dropped a decent amount, and then it's still up at 100,000. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see tweets like this in the future where, oh my gosh, I bought it at 64,000, now it's fallen down to 45,000, I can't believe it. And then 5-10 years from now it's worth $1 million. I might make a full video on this, but you have to remember that if you sell Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano and you've made some good gains on it, let's not forget, you don't just get to keep all those gains. You have to pay taxes on that. So I might make a video on this, but if you sell Bitcoin, let's say you bought it at 30 and you sell it at 45 to make the math easy, you have to pay taxes on that $15,000 worth of gains. So if you held it short term, you're betting that the price will go down pretty significantly. That's something to consider. If you bought Cardano at $1 and now you're selling it, let's say at $3, you have to pay a decent amount of tax depending on your tax bracket. Of course, I'm not a tax advisor or anything, but what I'm saying is you have to pay taxes on that. And of course, you could pay it at a later date. You'll have to pay it eventually, but you could be in a lower tax bracket. Let's say Cardano goes to $50 by the time that you retire or something like that. You could sell just a small portion and then your taxable income would be a lot lower, depending on, again, tax brackets and stuff like that. But you have to pay taxes if you sell it now, especially if you sell it short term. That's something to consider. So you, again, are banking on the fact that it will fall down a decent amount if you were selling it and you've been up a good amount. That's something to consider that I think a lot of people don't think about. Also, something else, besides just having to pay taxes, you don't get staking rewards or interest. If you buy Cardano, you get 5% on Voyager. If you buy Bitcoin, you get 4, 5, 6, 7% on different platforms, including BlockFi and Voyager, links down below. You're gonna miss out on those interest payments. So when you put money in there, it works for you no matter what the price is. Now, where are these going in the future? Well, obviously, we could always fall down. I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, Bitcoin's going up to 100,000 for sure by the end of the year. A lot of people think that. I also think that that's very possible. Ethereum to 10,000, Cardano to $5 or $10. That's all possible. We will see rocky days in the future. We will see drops. We will see 5, 10, 20% drops. You don't invest in cryptos because you are looking for something steady. You're looking at it from a broad perspective. It's still a little bit of the wild, wild west because we're at a $2 trillion market cap. This is smaller than several of the largest companies in the world. And the ecosystem is being built out so quickly that a lot of people want to get in on this early. This is still early in the broad scheme of things. We have MicroStrategy buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin over the last year. They just bought a couple $100 million more of Bitcoin. People are still getting it. And if you've ever seen the study where it looked at how many investors actually made money and how much did they make in the market doing active trading, people only make about 2% a year in investing. And I bet you that is somewhat similar to cryptocurrencies, where if you look at how much the market has gone up over time, and then you take a look at people's average returns, it's much lower than how much the market has appreciated because people are selling out. People are taking profits, they're buying back in when everything's all hyped up, and then they're selling after it drops. Some of the best investors are the ones that forget their passwords, and that is something sad to think about, but it is true. So it might be best just to hold and forget. One other thing is the SEC possibly approving a Bitcoin ETF here soon. This was just released. This is coming from an ETF expert from Bloomberg saying that he thinks that the Bitcoin futures ETF could be approved as soon as October, which is big news. Now, of course, Bitcoin futures, that's not what we really want as investors because they don't actually have to use Bitcoin to back that up. But the SEC has said that that will be the first thing that they approve, and then from there they might have actual Bitcoin-backed ETFs, which would be awesome. So that's something that you have to keep on your radar. Now, of course, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything can happen. Let me know if you guys want that video on when I would sell Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and all these other things. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. There are links to Voyager and to BlockFi down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.